Brooks.
And I'm Mandy.
So we're husband and wife entrepreneurs, and we believe that life and business are a giant adventure, and we want to live it with you guys.
So let's get to it.
Mandy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Afternoon.
Good day.
Evening. Yeah.
Buenos.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. This is our first time doing a video, recording a video while we record the podcast. So we're like literally doing all this live, kind of crazy. So if you're watching this on video, cool. If you're listening, just know that we're doing this live. The intro, the outro, everything in between is all being done live. So it's kind of crazy. I just want to try something different and see how we go.
Yeah, so, I'm excited.
Heck yeah, me too. So you posed the question, or we were talking about like, hey, like it's 2020. It's 2020. How in the world, like a couple of questions. One, how in the world does a beginner get going on YouTube? Like, what does it take? How do I get started? What do I do? I have all these questions or whatever. And so we're going to talk about some of those today.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
And then second, I reached out to some good friends of mine that have very large YouTube channels that are growing, that are further ahead of me in the process. So, you know, I've been growing a channel for a couple of years, creating content about, you know, marketing, online business, personal finance, about destroying the box. And so I've been doing that for a couple of years. And so I've really kind of followed and a number of other YouTubers that are either both in my realm and also just friends of mine, just to kind of watch them go through the process and what they're doing. And so I asked a couple of them to give us some feedback. The question I posed them was, should you start a YouTube channel in 2020? So I was curious to see what they had to say, because these guys are kind of have been at it for a number of years. So we're going to hear from them shortly. Just so you know, you guys, if you're listening, you want to keep listening, because one of them has surpassed the like 15,000 subscriber mark. The other YouTuber has a little over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. Wild. It's insane. Like the numbers are crazy. Both of them are in different niches. And so we'll kind of talk about them and give them some promo when we get there. But so that's what we're going to be talking about. So let's go ahead and kind of dive into a couple of your questions. I know last night we have some notes in front of us. You kind of came up with a few questions. You were like, well, this is what I would ask if I'm trying to figure out this YouTube thing in 2020.
So I'm completely a newbie.
You're a noob. As our son says, you're a noob.
I am. Yeah. And so I don't really have a huge social media presence, but if I wanted to start a YouTube channel, I don't know where to begin. Like,
well, then let's begin.
Yeah. So one of my questions would be, okay, first things first. What kind of equipment am I going to need for this?
Equipment. So my take on this is this. And you'll go out and you'll do research and you'll find all sorts of information, all sorts of response. My thinking on this is do whatever gets you started. Like you can literally start tomorrow by filming a video on your phone, which phones now today film in better quality than basically the highest end camera did 10 years ago. Not the highest, but like super high end cameras 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. Now your phone, like phones film in 4K. A lot of phones, like the newest iPhones, film in 4K, which is like high def. High def is like 1080p. We don't have to get into the specifics, but like just know that your camera in your phone, in your pocket right now is very capable of filming the videos you need. Now, I will also add that sound quality isn't always as good from your phone, right? Because it's got a little built-in microphone on board. And like what you and me right now are filming on. So like everything that we're filming on, probably, if I had to guess, probably costs less than $300.
Yeah.
So we have a Logitech webcam that's, you know, not the webcam from our laptop. where this is a Blue Yeti microphone right here, which is, you know, pretty decent for what we're doing. There's probably, you know, better ones now for the price. We have a little ring light that's right here above us, kind of giving us some a little bit of lighting on our face. If I turn that off,
ooh,
yeah, a little darker, right? Of course, people listening can't see that, but that's okay. Just take our word for it. So the ring light helps give us, and this is not even correct lighting. Like there's ways to get caught up in the details, right? So lighting, there's like a fill light and a side and a backlight. I don't know all the details of that, right? So, but what I do know is I can buy a $40 ring light that gives a little facial lighting and go.
So what you're saying is that it doesn't matter what I have, I can go ahead and get started. And then, so would I just add those things along the way?
I think.
Okay.
I think. Now look, if you're like, hey, I have $1,000 budget, that's a different story. If you're like, man, no, I have $1,000 set aside to get my YouTube channel off the ground, and you want to spend it and dedicate that money to YouTube, a little bit different, right? That answer would be, it may be a different camera, it may be a different microphone, it may be some lighting, it may be some sound dampening stuff. Natural light also is a very good, I'm sure you've seen videos where people have natural light that's like not blaring them in the face, but it's like it's natural light into the room. I mean, natural light is really wonderful, wonderful light, right?
Yeah.
So the answer is like, don't let any piece of equipment stop you from getting started if it's something that you want to do.
Okay.
We're not going to go into the weeds of this, but you know, thinking about actually, let me not go there, because maybe it's not even a question that you would ask as someone that's wanting to get going. So
okay.
What's something else that you would ask, and we'll conversate about it.
Okay. So let's just say I have my phone.
Okay.
I'm set up in my home office or wherever, and I'm like, okay, now what? How do I get this video that I just made on whatever topic it is?
Okay.
How do I get that on YouTube, and how do I get it seen?
How do you get it on YouTube? Okay, so that one's really easy.
Okay.
I mean, like, one, you're gonna have a YouTube account that you sign up through.
Okay.
You have to have Gmail.
Okay.
Sign up. So if you film it on your phone, you can literally upload straight from the app. YouTube has its own app. It has its own Creator Studio app as well. So you can literally upload straight from the app. If you are filming on a different device, like a camera, or like this webcam is going to create its own separate file.
Okay.
When you go online to YouTube, you're just going to upload the file just like you would like. It's drag and drop, super easy. Yeah,
okay, so I don't need to like go through tutorials and all kinds of things.
Physically getting your video on YouTube is going to be really easy. Now, there's a lot of practices and stuff that we'll not cover in this chat, but like there's probably a list of things that are 15 to 20 long that you want to do when you upload the video.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, at the very beginning, you're like, oh, okay, they're just things to look out for. But once you've uploaded maybe a handful of videos, a part of what you do, there's a lot of defaults that you can set up in YouTube, which is pretty cool. So, for example, there's like tagging where you can tag your videos with some keywords. Okay. You can set up some defaults for that. You can set up an overlay image that is in the bottom right. That's like a watermark that pops up. You can set up a default description. So a very long description when someone watches a YouTube video, you've seen all the text in there. Yeah. Maybe they have links off to connect with them or to resources and tools. You can have all of that automatically. I like it. So the video can start with that. You can even start with an automatic like title, which I don't do, but that's something you could do. So while I'm sitting there and saying like, oh, this video, okay, it's ready to go. YouTube will actually generate some titles for me, and I don't have to think about it. No. Okay. No. What do you mean by that? You can set up a default title. Like, let's say your title was like Health Talks with Mandy. Okay. Episode 001 or something. Let's say you were just, for some reason, you were titling everything the same. You could set up that default title to be Health Talks with Mandy. You would set that up. I got you. YouTube is not going to give you the answers of what to title your video. Got it. That's actually related to the answer of how do you get found. Okay. Yes. That would be one of those answers. It is very important what you're titling your videos. Like every piece of content that I make, for example, I try to make content that is what's called evergreen, meaning if someone could potentially find my video 12 months or 24 months from now by a search term, and they will still potentially get value out of it, because I'm not necessarily making videos on like trending, like this is what happened this week.
Okay.
And that's me. That's what I'm doing. So, but but for example, like the guy RBT that we're gonna go to a clip to him in just a second, like saying if you should even start a YouTube channel in 2020. You know, him, for example, it's very entertainment based. So like some of his stuff may be timely, maybe based on like what's happening in the NFL draft. Like he's a gamer and he does stuff for Madden. So he makes very timely content.
That makes sense.
That's also another way to get found, because if you're making trending topics or trending videos, there's a lot more people searching for that content right now. Right. And so you would have actually a better chance of getting found for that content if it's trending topics.
That makes sense.
So that's one way. Of course, if you have a following or an email list, of course, let's say you have an email list of 1,000 customers. Of course, you can say, hey, I just launched a YouTube channel, or like, hey, I made this useful video on this topic we were talking about. Go have a watch. That's a way to get views on your video, right? If you have a following in social media or anywhere else that you can promote your channel, definitely smart to do that. Or you can also rely on YouTube, which people get really frustrated at first, right? Because they get really frustrated. They're like, oh man, my videos, like nothing's getting watched or whatever. YouTube's huge. Like we're talking billions of hours of content. We're talking about millions and millions of everyday users. So YouTube is the second biggest search engine, actually. Behind, what would you guess? Behind
Google.
Behind Google.
Google.
Do you know any idea? So YouTube is actually owned. Did you know that?
I actually did know that.
Okay. Who's it owned by? Do you know that?
Is it Google?
It is owned by Google. Very good. Yeah. So Google bought YouTube quite a long time ago, but just want to make sure that everyone knows that. So because of that, think about it. It's very search centric, right? Like a lot of the ways that Google works with search, YouTube also works.
Smart.
And like, so for my channel, something really interesting I found YouTube gives you analytics. You can see like who's watching your video. Are they male? Are they female? Like what are their maybe age ranges? Where do they live in the world? Like what of your videos have been the most popular in the last 90 days? Anyways, all kinds of stuff, which you should be looking at even early on. But what I find cool about just one of the things that I found in mine is that it was 99.5, and this is as of today, as of recording this, but like 99.5% of my views come from non-subscribers. So it means that people are finding the content because they're searching for something, or they're looking for something, or maybe YouTube suggested the video, or they searched for it. And even some of those, a small percent actually come straight from Google. Like Google sometimes actually videos are in the results page there. So the far majority of my views come from people that aren't even like subscribed to my channel. So they don't even follow me.
But
like in that sense.
So do subscribers matter?
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. Subscribers definitely matter, especially if you are looking to become an ad partner. Like if you want to become the partner program where you actually get paid a portion of the ad revenue that YouTube makes. That's one of the ways that a lot of YouTubers make money, or people that create content on YouTube. One of the ways a lot of them make money is from the ad revenue, like sharing in that ad revenue. Google shares like half of it or something. But the way that happens, there's a minimum requirement, and they didn't used to have this, but a few years back they set a minimum requirement. So you have to have at least 1,000 subscribers. And then you have to have at least 4,000 hours of watch time, I think like in the last 12 months or whatever. So if you really think about it, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of watch time, like 4,000 hours, So my channel currently does not qualify, currently, for that program. But, if that's a goal, but it doesn't mean that you can't have an effect or build a community or even make money without, if you haven't hit those requirements yet. You just have to think of other ways that you're going to do that, right? Maybe you're talking about something for you. Let's say it's health related. Maybe you want to talk about some health stuff, and you're like, hey, to get more information, just click the link below. I'll put it in the description. Well, someone could click that, come to you, connect, and I don't know if you guys can hear our dog in the background, but we're having groceries delivered right now. So our dog's going crazy.
Yeah. I hope the dog answers the door.
Yeah, hopefully the dog does answer the door. I don't know. All right, so we're gonna let him bark, but we'll keep going. So Meow's getting excited there. So
yeah, he'll keep going.
I just want to make sure y'all can hear this. Our dog is blind.
Yeah, poor guy. He's sweet as he can be, though.
Super sweet.
His hearing is on point. Okay, I think he's settled on. Yeah.
All right. So do you remember where we were? Like what else I'm out exactly?
You were about to tell me how I could make money on YouTube, but
even without having the
revenue.
subscribers, right? So in your example, I gave you a call to action. You have a health video, and then you tell people, hey, just click down below and you can connect with me. I'll get you more information, or you can sign up for my program or whatever. There's no cost to you, whatever.
Right.
But anyways, if you get someone to click that, and then maybe it goes to a landing page, or they're able to connect with you, then maybe you're building a relationship, and then maybe they buy a product or service from you.
Okay.
Well, like you just made money. You just did business with someone that you found on YouTube.
Right.
But you weren't paid any ad revenue.
Right.
And you weren't yet qualified to do that. So
yeah.
All right. So let's take a break now. I want to hear from, we talked about RBT. So let's go ahead and let's hear from him. Let's see what he has to say about if you should start a YouTube channel in 2020.
All right, let's hear it.
Let's see what he has to say.
So the question is, should folks start a YouTube channel in 2020? And 100% I would say yes. Why? Because it's the business that from this point on is only going to grow. I mean, online media is only going to grow from here on out. I mean, you look at kids today, they get most of their entertainment online. I mean, online entertainment's ever growing. And what would you share that you now know that you didn't when you first started? Well, number one, when I first started, like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, all that kind of stuff wasn't really a big thing. Like Twitter and Instagram didn't even exist. I would definitely go ahead and use your social media followings that you currently have to your advantage. So I would post pretty much any type of video you make on YouTube on your own social media, whether it be your personal social media or your brand social media. I mean, that's really your best way to get your first initial views. And something else very cliche, I mean, really just be yourself. And the reason I say that is because if you're trying to fake something or if you're trying to be somebody that you're not, it shows in your content. Like transparency is a big thing on YouTube, and potential audiences really do relate to that and gravitate towards that. So it's always nice to be transparent, always be yourself, because once again, it will show in the content. It will show that you're not being yourself in the content. So that's really all I have to say. I mean, definitely somebody that has a passion for it would recommend, starting a YouTube channel, seeing where it goes. I mean, you never know if you don't try.
Never know if you don't try.
I love that. Those are words of wisdom.
Is it good or what?
Yeah. I actually really enjoyed
RBT's the man. And he's from our community.
Yeah.
Yep. From our area, which is super cool.
Local celebrity.
Yeah, we didn't know. I was like, what? People big on YouTube can be like in my city? What? And
little mobile.
So what did you take from that? What are your thoughts based on what he said?
Well, I really like the fact that he was able to, and I know that it was some years ago, but he was able to grow his following even without a Twitter and an Instagram. That means, we have more resources now to help us build. And then the fact of being transparent, being who you are instead of, trying to be something you're not. I think that that's huge.
Yeah. I mean, so that is one of the things I feel like I would piggyback on what he said, because on the transparent and being who you are, being authentic, I think you would get exhausted after a while if you choose not to be authentic, right, or transparent about who you are. You definitely have to be yourself. Otherwise you'll burn out, man, because I think YouTube's a long-term game. That's something I would also add, not to discourage anyone, but if you're not willing to make hundreds of videos on a specific, on your topic or your niche, or you're not excited to talk about whatever it is, don't begin, because you're not going to have a happy ending when you're 30 videos in and you're like, man, I'm not getting this. Be excited about what you're doing and the content that you're building, and think of every video that you make. I guess it's the finance in me, but I think of every video that I create like a little asset. Oh, it's a little asset that it goes out forever, and potentially one day there's going to be a return on that investment. The asset eventually could make money, or down the road, someone could see it and get value from it or whatever. And so that's part of the way that I envision. I'm also, every time like I'm improving. I just found out a few things in creating some videos that saved me like 20 minutes per video. That was so obvious. And I was like, oh, it was in the editing and it was so simple and I didn't know it. So after like literally 150 videos or 200 videos, I find this trick and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. So like you will continuously hone your process and change that kind of stuff. So, all right, let's ask a couple more questions and then we'll go to Kyle from Unguided Outdoors and see what he says about starting a YouTube channel.
So one of the things that really kind of perplexes me is I see videos that are like 3 minutes and then I see videos that are like 13 minutes and I see videos that are 3 hours long. So how do I know as a noob, how do I know how long I should make my video? And I don't like, how do I know when it becomes rambling or content that is not important anymore? What should I shoot for?
I think that's a really good question because I try not to interrupt people or just like disagree when people say, oh, we have the attention span of a goldfish or less than a goldfish, you know, it's like 7 seconds. And if your video is not under 60 seconds, whatever, like my response to that is, yeah, for sure. We have short attention spans because there's a lot of info out there. It depends what platform you're on and it depends what your purpose is. It depends what your goal is. There are podcasts, for example, that are hours long, that are some of the most popular podcasts. I myself find it very difficult to consume that type of content, like that length of content. Same, I would say, with your videos. Like the question is what's the purpose of your content? If you can answer the question adequately in 3 minutes or 5 minutes, then I think that's the perfect length for your video. If it's an hour-long video, and again, this is not to get in the weeds here, but like there's the analytics thing where eventually you can see your videos, you can watch and see what percentage of the video people are watching. Like when, people stop, I have an hour-long video, but after 10 minutes, people are dipping off. Yeah. Like, okay, maybe you weren't as interesting as you thought, or the content they didn't get what they came to get or whatever. So I answer that in the sense of like, it just depends what you're making. And make the content as long as it needs to be. Without rambling. And without trying to be shorter than it needs to be. My gut is the best thing you can do is just make the content what it should be.
Do you ever get anybody to watch your videos before you post them?
I don't.
To get any feedback at all whatsoever? You just throw it out there?
Here's why. And this is for me. I feel like that goes along the lines of, now, do I think it's a bad idea? No. Why not me post it and then get feedback?
No, yeah, I was just wondering, if you had a process.
Here's where that goes with me. It goes along the lines of me doing certain things that like, if and when I get here, then I'll put out that content. And for me personally, the content will never come out. So therefore, what I do is do it, and then I adjust as I go forward. Let me tell you something really cool you can do. If you find YouTubers that you like, find a YouTube channel that's a really big channel or whatever, go to their channel. You can, all their videos are there. It's like literally a catalog of what they've done. I love doing this. I do it all the time. Go to the video and sort the videos by the date, oldest first. Let's say they've been making videos for 6 years. Oldest first pops up and you can start looking at their content from 6 years ago. You can watch it. You can scroll to like 5 years ago. You can see like, wow, like you can see their growth or their transition. And you're like, man, this is most what you'll find is like, dude, this is nothing what they're like now. Like this is not like whatever they put out now. Like what I'm finding is nothing like that. Well, what that means is they put out content and they continue to evolve and get better and adjust and change and do all that, right? So if it's something that you were looking to do, I would highly I would highly advise you to do that, to check channels out in that manner.
That's a good homework.
It's a
action step.
It's a good action step. It's also really, it's just really insightful. And especially if you're looking at someone thinking like, man, I could never do this, or I could never be like this. Like, how does that work? How does that happen? Well, it's a great tool for you. So,
very cool. So last question.
Okay.
I've got this idea and I want to make these videos, and okay, I've decided I'm going to make them an appropriate length that I feel like I am not rambling and I've got the equipment I need and all of that.
All right.
Now, how often should I post?
Again, it depends. I will say you need to do something consistently.
Okay.
So consistent is better than not consistent, because if you do begin to get a following or fans and you post, for example, let's just say once per week. Let's use that as an example. Like, hey, you could advertise, hey, I post once a week on this day, and then people can begin to know and trust and come back and actually find your content.
That makes sense.
You're just settling people and to know what to come to expect from you, even if you don't mention it, even if you don't say it. The other side of that coin is sometimes people will say, man, this is okay. But like, they'll say things like, man, I'll do a 30-day challenge, a video every day for 30 days. Totally cool in a short term. Like, I've actually done something like that before. I did like a 100 video challenge. And I just wanted a group and we were accountable. And I was like, hey, I need accountability for creating 100 videos. But you could burn yourself out, which is a very real thing in the YouTube world. If you stick around long enough, you'll find people, talk to people. Maybe it'll happen to you, whatever. But like being burned out on creating the content. Right. Or I'm not sure where my thought was going with that. But yeah. Or you could even overwhelm the subscriber, right? The subscriber may say, man, they were doing like a they were doing a video a week or whatever every couple of weeks, and now like I'm just getting barraged with all these videos. Right. And if you're not just like on point, you may actually find people to unsubscribe from you or to stop following you or whatever. So okay,
that makes sense.
I would say come up with it. And here's another thing kind of related to that. We won't go into it, but like batching your process of how you do stuff. So you could sit down, outline a video, record a video, stop what you're doing, edit the video, upload the video, publish the video, and then go share it or whatever. Or you could do things a little bit more orchestrated where like, hey, okay, I can easily do the work to put out like 2 videos in a week. Okay. So maybe you have an idea list where you're like always coming up with ideas, keeping ideas for what your topics are, doing the research. Then maybe when you record, maybe you go ahead and record at least 2 videos at one time, right? Just back to back, just go ahead and record the topics. That way when you're editing, you're batching your processes. So like when you're uploading, maybe you can even upload, I just found out today, you can upload like 10, 12, whatever videos at one time. Okay. So if you had a bunch of production, you could actually put it all up on YouTube and schedule it and all that.
That is helpful information.
Yeah. So not to overload you, but yeah. So it just be consistent to a schedule that you can stay consistent with. Okay. Is what the punchline of that would be.
Gotcha.
All right. Are you game to hear and see what Kyle from Unguided Outdoors has to say? All right, Kyle, let's see what you have. And this is about, should you start a YouTube channel in 2020? See what he has to say.
What's up, guys? Kyle McDonald here from Unguided Outdoors. Brooks had asked me if I thought that it is worth someone starting a channel in 2020. My opinion, I 100% think it's worth someone starting a channel. If you're trying to grow a brand, get out there, start putting your content on all of the social media platforms. He also asked me if I had a couple tips. Those tips that I would give, first, starting off with consistency. You need to be posting weekly. Second, I would say that originality. Find out who is doing the best in the genre that you want to be in, and then put your spin on it. Add your personality to it. That's what's going to set you apart. Third, don't get discouraged. We would spend piles of money and piles of effort and all of this things that we'd put together to make a video, and we would only get a couple hundred views, and it just seemed really discouraging. Well, January of 2019, we were at 70 subscribers, and we just hit 15,000. We're growing at around 2,000 to 5,000 a month now. So don't get discouraged. On first days, you're going to have to grind it out. Probably for the first year is going to be really rough. You want to if you have a video that really takes off, you want to really capitalize on that video and really figure out why that video is successful and do more of that style content. Good luck. Don't get discouraged. Keep grinding.
Keep grinding.
I like it.
So many nuggets in there, man.
Yeah, that's
so many
good.
nuggets. All right, any takeaway from you that stood out to you?
Really, all of it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really cool to know that, everyone struggles in the beginning with something, whatever you decide to do, I guess. And in the world now that I'm looking to do a YouTube channel, it's kind of nice to know that like everyone has a starting place and you just kind of keep going. And then, see where you are 6 months from then or a year from then.
I heard this. It's kind of really interesting about YouTube. You really have two options. Either you're going to grow a channel or you're not going to grow a channel.
Right.
Which means either you just start creating content and just figure out how to improve and keep going along the way and grow a following. Or at some point you decide, this isn't for me. And there's no harm, no foul, like no pressure in this, but you stop.
Right.
You stop and you go, it didn't work, or I didn't grow or whatever. And I don't want to use the word quit, but you quit, you stop it, you make a decision, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not growing or whatever. And that's okay. That's definitely the only way for sure that you can make a decision not to be successful or grow a following or a community or a channel or whatever. And also what is success to you in the world of creating a channel, right? Is it okay? I mean, having 1,000 subscribers could be man, that's the world to me. Is it having 1 million subscribers? I don't know. I mean, it just depends maybe what your goals are and what you're trying to do in your community and your brand and all that. So I think as long as you're putting out useful, creative, purposeful content that can help people. Basically, people go to YouTube to either be educated or entertained. If you can do one, the other, or both, then cool. You're doing a good job for humanity, and you're building your own TV station.
I like it.
It's the way I see it. So, all right, you starting one? You gonna start one?
I mean,
Maybe?
I have
No
all
pressure.
the tips in the world now.
True. If you decide to do it, you have the information that you need. Huh?
I'm gonna think really hard about it, and then make a decision.
We can do that. All right, guys. Well, hope you enjoyed this episode on creating a YouTube channel in 2020. If you were thinking about it, you were on the fence. I hope you're off the fence. Either, I don't care which direction you go, either don't do it, or I think this is for me, do it. So I hope you're able to make a decision and take some action, because that's definitely what you need. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We'd love for you to share it, maybe with a friend, review it, and don't hesitate to reach out and say hello. You can connect with us and see the resources that we talk about at destroytheboxwith.us. That's www.destroytheboxwith.us. See ya.